It's wonderful to be here with you. Let's actually start sitting all the way back in your chair and you lean back in your chair. Even when you're leaning back in your chair, you can subtly change the tilt of your pelvis. So even if you're leaning back and relaxed, you can untuck a little bit or let your pelvis tuck under. So if you were to feel any lower back tension or anywhere around that area, maybe play with the subtle tilt of your pelvis. But to start out, we'll just start drawing one knee at a time in and lowering it down, trying to keep your knee in line with your ASIS bone. So about hip distance apart, keeping your lower leg from shifting from side to side. And then start to feel your breath, feel your body as you lift in. It's okay if you hold on to the underside or the top, but try to relax anything that might be over clenching. And I've mentioned this before, but it's really like, how do I know if I'm relaxing or if it's just muscle, if I'm clenching or it's just muscle engagement? Well, if you're coming into the shape that you want and you're just paying to as many details as you can at that time, and anything extra can relax and let go without you losing that shape, then you know that you're clenching something a little bit extra. And the more you pay attention and feel your body, over time you'll start to feel what's going on in more detail. At first, you might just feel like, gosh, I'm tight everywhere. Then you know you're clenching a little bit everywhere. But then eventually you start to feel like bands of tissue. Think about if you've seen a picture of the muscular skeletal system, there's all these bands of muscle, and you might just have like one stripe here that just feels really tight. Can you relax a little bit? Or it might be just one tiny stripe here. And just think of muscles going all different directions, weaving in and out of each other. So you're just doing the best you can to mindfully pay attention to your body and try to soften anything that might be clenching. I tend to clench a lot in this inner thigh. And so can it release a little bit? Yes. Is it fully feel like it's relaxing ever? Not yet. And that's just going to be a slow and patient process with my body, also figuring out what I'm doing all day long, and just changing things one by one. Okay, next time your right leg comes in, how about drawing a circle with it? And you can lightly hold on, or you can just draw that circle around. If you get clicking or cracking or popping, make the circle a little bit smaller, but it's like you're drawing a circle with your knee on the ceiling. And then pause and circle in the other direction. And even here, a lot of hip muscle engagement going on, but we don't need to extra clench the buttocks or the lower belly, or even sometimes around the tops of the thigh muscles. And I'm getting a little clicking and popping in one part of my circle, so I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. And then put that right leg down and lift your left knee up, and same thing here. Draw a circle with your knee. And you can start out a little bigger, and then if you notice clicking or popping, go a little smaller. And where is my clicking and popping? Inner thigh area. So for someone else, it might be someplace different. And then pause and circle in the other direction. Relaxing any clenching. Stay in tune with your breath. That exhale really helps soften. What a great way to warm up the hips, and it's good for strength too. Definitely a lot of muscle work here. All right, go ahead and put that foot down, and then from there, tilt your pelvis upright, and let's spin around for our first lunge. So spin around to your right. Slide your knee back. You can do top of the foot or toes tucked under. Try to stabilize your foot and activate your foot wherever you are. Flip your palm to face forward, your elbow pit, and then we'll sweep the arm up. Pure shoulder motion, so we're not lifting and leaning back with the chest, and pull the arm back and sweep up and pull back. As you're here, try to feel some weight on both of your hips, so including that hip where that's kind of hanging down towards the floor. And relax, clenching without losing the shape of your foot, without losing your knee hanging right under your hip. Relax, relax, relax the groin area, the buttocks muscles. All right, take your arm out to your sides, palm face up, and go across in front. And I'm starting low, and I'm just gonna do all different angles. So we talked last week about the thoracic spine, your spine that connects to your rib cage, and you want to, or the ribs that connect to your spine, that's all part of your rib cage. And there's 12 vertebrae along your thoracic spine, so that's minimum 12 different angles here that you can open and close your arm, 12 different areas of bones that you can pull on. A lot of times when we think of having good bone density, they say the word weight bearing, and people think that it means like to lift weights and load more weight, and it is loading more weight on your bones, but you don't necessarily have to lift weights to do it. Standing well and stacking your bones keeps your bone density healthy, and as well as just the pulling of the muscle on all the little different areas definitely plays a part in that. So that's why we're just changing the angle and feeling like we're helping all those different areas of the spine participate. Okay, from here with your arm by your side, circle your arm up and down. Check your feet. Do they tend to relax and roll out? So stabilize and relax. They kind of go together. Some people will overly relax and their ankle will flop out, their back ankle, their front foot will lift up. You want to stabilize, but then from there, relax. Breathing here. And if you're just overall tight, maybe a little bit more relaxation. If you tend to be more mobile, you definitely want to focus on stabilizing yourself. All right, so from there, you're just going to slide your back leg forward, and you can stay facing sideways. Ankles under the knees are a little in front. Let's do a couple of those slow cat-cows, starting from the pelvis. So we're sitting all the way upright, and we slowly round our pelvis, our lower back, our mid back, our upper back, and then our head goes down. And then we'll start at the pelvis, and you'll try to keep everything else around it and unwind from your pelvis, your lower back, your mid back, your upper back, and your head. And think of 24 vertebrae along the spine. You want to get just really small movement going on. And pelvis, lower back, mid back, upper back, head drops down. And then start from the pelvis only, then the lower back, the mid back, piece by piece, the upper back, piece by piece, and then the head comes up. All right, spin around to your other side. Slide your knee back under your hip, ankle behind the knee. You can do top of the foot or toes tucked under. We'll start with arm raises, where our arm sweeps up and goes back. So we're going to do some arm motions today that are not ones that we've done in a long time. Gosh, I might have put them, I'm not even sure if I've done them since I started doing all these online classes. And they really get into some of the underused areas around your rib cage, your shoulder. So you want to ease into them. They might not seem hard, but you want to go slowly and really feel what you're doing, and not push your body too much, since it's the first time that you may be going into these positions in months or years or ever. All right, next time your arm goes out to your side, check, stabilize but relax, and arm goes across and out, and you're working many different heights. Palm rotates up. And really you should think about that when you're doing any kind of exercise or movement. Not, is this hard for my body? Because I'll have people all the time be like, oh, I could do everything. That was, and they think that's easy. Instead of thinking like, oh, could I do everything? Think, how long has it been since I've done a movement like this in my body? And if the answer is not ever or not often, then no matter what it is, you want to help your body adapt slowly to it. In my experience of doing this over time, it's often the smaller movements is where people get injured. And I'm not talking about in my classes specifically, but in just studying the body and seeing people get injured and what happened. A lot of times it's the very small things that triggers the body. So you want to just ease into things, really ease into them. And if it's something you haven't done in a long time, do it a little bit more often. Okay, next time your arms come down, and circle your arm up and down by your side. Breathing here. Steady feet, but relax, clenching around the hips, around the thighs. Become very present with your body. All right, relax your arms, slide your back leg forward. So we're going to do those same cat-cows, pelvis upright to start, but we're going to start from the upper body. So nice and slow, the head drops down like the neck rounds back. Go into the upper back. So challenging to start rounding the upper back without the hips wanting to go back. Work down into the mid back. Slowly, slowly, slowly the lower back. And then let the pelvis go back. And then you'll start coming up from the head. The upper back unwinds. The mid back nice and slow. The lower back until the pelvis untucks. Let's do that one more time. Head goes down. Nice and slow round the upper back. Shoulders come forward a little. Mid back, bone by bone. Lower back, bone by bone. Pelvis tucks under. And then we start just from the head, and then the upper back spine goes forward, bone by bone, the mid back, and then the lower back, and then the pelvis untucks, and then spin back around to the front of the chair. Walk your feet nice and wide. Bring your arms out to your side with your hands low and the feet straight, and roll your thighs in. Relax, clenching. Roll to the outer edge of the feet, relax, clenching. Bring your hands a little bit higher. Roll in, take a pause, see if anything can relax a little more. Outer hips, inner thighs, and roll your thighs open and relax. Arms go up a little more. Roll your thighs in, take a moment, see if anything can soften a little bit more. And roll your thighs open and see if anything can relax a little bit more. Bring your arms up into the air and roll your thighs in. Pause. Relax, relax, relax. Any pressure around the knees, scoot the feet further out and roll the thighs open and relax, relax, relax. Okay, maybe give your arms a break. Otherwise, just walk your feet in. Bring the soles of your feet together and your knees open out to the side. Now, if arms in the air doesn't work for this because you feel like you're scooting off your chair, just hold on to the sides of the chair. But from here, with the soles of the feet together, little lift and open, and try to go nice and slow and relax anything that might be over clenching. And you might find those little stripes. You might just find a certain area, the buttocks, the thighs. Go slow, feel and breathe. Rest your arms at any time. Ribs relax down if you tend to always thrust them forward. Let's do a couple more like that. All right, and relax your arms. All right, bring your ankles right under your knees, and then you're going to extend your right leg long. Relax anything that you can. The front of the thigh, the sides of the thigh, the back of the thigh. Bend the knee. Try not to scoot your foot back if you always have a habit of doing it. Keep it forward under your ankle and extend and relax without losing the upright tilt of the pelvis. So this is one of the reasons why you want to stack your hips higher. Extend and relax and bend. Extend and relax and bend. And one of the reasons you want to sit your hips higher than your knees, because some of us can hold ourselves here, but you have to be able to hold yourself there and relax. that's the key. You want to be in the shape, but be able to relax in the shape, not be clenching in the shape. So the higher you get your hips, the more you can tilt your pelvis forward and have the opportunity to soften and relax a little bit. That's why it's so important not to just hold yourself like, oh, this is the position I want to be in for deeper core strength. Let me hold myself there. That's not the purpose. The purpose is actually for you to be able to have your body in that position naturally, like a little baby or toddler, without clenching anything. Okay, grab your block. You can do any height. I did the lowest height earlier and I'm going to do it again because it felt really good. You can do the second highest height. You can do the highest height. Stick your foot up on there, flex your ankle, rotate forward from the pelvis. And now just see, can you relax? And one thing that's helpful is any kind of massage, tissue stimulation. That's why rolling a ball under areas of the body is helpful. A softer foam roller is helpful. Our hands are really helpful and it creates more movement for our neck and our shoulders, which can get tiring pretty quick. But you can just really not even put any pressure, like just even this, like soft is really, really good to get into the surface layers tension. And then yes, you can dig a little deeper with your fingers if you want to, but just any tension kind of helps the nervous system. Let me release a little bit, or any touch is what I meant to say. All right, come up and slide that foot out to the block out to the right, slide your foot out to the right, flex the ankle, hinge forward here. Maybe you feel a little bit more inner thigh pulling here, so you use your hands a little bit there. Any kind of tissue manipulation like massage is really, really great for our bodies. It also tends to be something that people can't afford to do all the time. So if you are able to afford it for your health, definitely get massages. But at the same time, this is a great alternative once in a while or more often, is just to be able to feel your tissues, squeeze them a little bit, encourage them to soften and relax. Okay, come up and take the foot across the body. And you can do this for any part of your body. Hinge forward, nice straight leg. Maybe you get now around your IT band here, the outer hip muscles, the side of the buttocks muscle. And again, it can be like really, really soft touch. That is effective in its own way. Or you can dig in a little bit. I like to do a combination of both. Our thighs just tend to be, for a lot of people, an area that we hold tension in areas because they're bigger muscles. Okay. Bring that foot back. Now, before we use the block, we're just going to bend and straighten the other leg. So pelvis upright, extend, take a moment. What can relax? Right away, sometimes you clench the front of the thigh, the knee can relax. And bend and extend. Check on the inner thigh, the outer thigh, the back of the thigh without the knee bending. And bend and extend. Relax, relax, relax for circulation. And bend and extend and relax, relax, relax. So I tense this leg all the time when I'm doing stuff, but on this leg, I have like this stripe of tension that I know I clench a lot, like as opposed to this leg's more all over. You just start to figure things out like this, and it could change. It could change at any time. Okay, put your foot up on there. Extend, rotate forward, and feel free to use your hands gently. You can lean down with your body weight a little bit, but start out soft. If an area is really tight, it needs really soft touch to let go, which is so interesting because we think, I need to dig into that to get it to release. But really soft touch, and then a little harder, and then a little harder, and then a little harder. Slowly, we'll get the best response from the nervous system. All right, let's extend that foot out to the side. And you'll notice on my right leg, I spend more time in this area. But anywhere that feels good to you, lean forward a little bit. Tune into your breath. All right, let's bring that leg in and take it across in front. And then from there. And you can just enjoy the stretch. You do not have to use your hand. But even here, when I'm going across in front, still feel that inner thigh clenching up a little bit. For a lot of people, this is where they feel the IT band more. Feel your breath, your exhale helps soften everything. All right, come on up. Slide that block out of the way. Sit all the way back in your chair again. We've been doing this a little bit lately. It's kind of fun to switch it up. You can use a block underneath your right foot inside your left leg, or cross your ankle over your knee. Notice once you do that, does the weight drop to one side? Try to put equal weight on both hips. Relax, 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 release. Point and flex times 3. Point and flex. As you're moving, can the hips still relax a little bit? Point and flex. Now do your best to just sit up nice and tall from the pelvis. So you're coming off of your tailbone onto your sitting bones. If you're not sure where your tailbones and sitting bones are, definitely something you want to learn from this upright position. Point and flex, point and flex, point and flex. All right, rotate your pelvis like you're almost trying to get part of your buttocks to lift up off the chair. Relax, relax, relax the belly around the hips, and point and flex, point and flex, point and flex, and lean all the way back and switch legs. Feet closer to straight, ankles closer to hip distance apart. If you haven't reviewed the alignment skills lately, I just was talking to someone and he was saying it's a great tool that he's realized to go back and look at those alignment skills and review them. Keep going back and doing that once in a while. Make a commitment to doing it if you're new, once a month maybe, and then eventually once every 6 months, but then still go back every year and check in, because all the time people are like, oh, I was standing with my feet closer than hip, wider than hip distance. Like I thought I was opening to hip distance, but I was doing wider all the time. So keep checking in, and while we're here, let's point and flex, because as your muscles and tissues change, that might change. Like the bone alignment is the same, but it might actually look different. So you always want to be checking from the position of your bones, not from the way your soft tissue looks. All right, relax that thigh, sit up, just try to sit up nice and tall. And from here, point and flex, point and flex, point and flex, and rotate forward from the pelvis. Nice long spine. Relax around the buttocks, the sides of the hips, and point, flex, point, flex, point, and flex. All right, and come up, sit all the way back, uncross, rotate your pelvis upright. So we're going to go into a lunge, but this is what we're going to do in a lunge, and this was the specific motion I was talking about that really tends to hit some underused muscles, so don't overdo it. We do the first version quite a bit. Well, actually, we don't. You'll see why. So we reach the arm into the air, and when I say bend your elbow, people go all different places with their hands. Usually you go to the area that's easiest for your body unconsciously. So we're going to try to hit different angles. So as you reach your right arm up, tap your outer right shoulder area, and then reach your arm up and go over to your mid spine area. And if to the neck or to the between the shoulders is too far, then just the center, the back of the head. And then reach that arm up and go over, and you don't have to go all the way down, but it's like you're reaching for your other shoulder. Maybe you can, but notice if as you do that, does your head have to come forward? Do your ribs have to come up? So ribs in neutral, head backs up, even if you have to lift a little forward, and then extend and bring that arm down. So might not look like a big deal, but it is getting all around the upper arms, the ribs, in a way that probably most people don't do throughout their day, most of the days. So reach your left arm up, hand to the outer shoulder. And you might just notice, oh, my hand always goes in a little. Hand to the outer shoulder, extend up, go towards the mid head or the mid neck or the mid shoulder blades. Breathing here. And then extend up and take it over and across like you're trying to touch your other shoulder or your other shoulder blade. And then extend up. So we're going to spin around to your lunge. We're going to stay on one angle for several repetitions. So as your arm goes up into the air, you're just going to tap the outer shoulder. Tap, extend, tap, extend. Relax, clenching around the hips. Tap, extend, steady feet. Tap, extend. Now go to the center part of the spine or the back of the head. Tap, extend, tap, extend, tap, extend, tap, extend. Now go over towards the other shoulder. Tap and reach up. Tap, reach up. Tap, reach up. Tap, reach up, and lower your hand down. Slide that back leg forward, spin around to your lunge on the other side, slide your knee back under your hip, steady feet, relax, clenching, and the arm goes up in the air, and now just the outer shoulder. Tap, reach up, tap, extend, tap, extend, tap, extend, across to the center. Tap, extend, tap, and up, down, and up. Now go across to the other shoulder behind the head, any amount. Tap and extend. Reach over, extend, reach over, extend, reach over, extend, and lower that arm down and slide your leg forward and spin back around to the front of the chair. Extend your legs nice and long. From here, reach your arms out, palms face down, and then we'll flip our wrists down and we'll flip our wrist up, and we'll do that from several different places. Turn and look over your right shoulder first. Relax, clenching around your thighs, hips, lower legs. Flip your wrist down, flip your wrist up. Turn and look over your other shoulder, relax, clenching, flip your wrist down, flip your wrist up. Bring your head back to center, right ear to right shoulder, flip your wrist down, flip your wrist up. Slowly bring your head up, left ear to left shoulder, and flip your wrist down, flip your wrist up. Bring your head up, last one, chin down to the center of the chest. Notice, do you feel your shoulder blades squeezing together? Actually bring your arms a little forward, feel down the neck, feel between the shoulder blades, and flip your wrist down and flip your wrist up, and then bring your head up, relax your arms, try to keep your thighs somewhat steady and twist your inner arches away from each other and your outer arches towards each other. Inner arches away, outer arches toward. So a twist of the ankle. Notice as you do this, does anything clench up in your legs? Can you feel any sensation? Like, can you feel the sensation of when you press away, your inner arches going up your inner thighs at all, or your outer edge of your foot? And it might be in your lower leg, but sometimes when people just push their outer edges forward, they feel something up there, up here in their hip. So it could be anywhere along the chain. As you twist your ankles, slowly side to side, and just pause, like pause with the outer edges going forward and relax a little. Pause with the inner arches going forward and relax a little. And then bring your legs back to center and bend your knees. And from here, we're coming up to stand. Push down, come up. All right, we are going to use a wall. The first thing you can skip for a wall. The next you'll need to push your hand on a wall, so you can do it later if you don't practice by a wall. But from here, you are going to stand pretty close to the wall. Work on outer edges of feet closer to straight, ankles closer to hip distance. Really try to measure those bones. Do I tend to thrust my hips forward, back your weight up? When you do, things will often clench if you're not used to being back there. You're pretty close to the wall, just a little tap away, and then take your outside arm up and over, tap the wall, maybe side bend from the ribs, and back down, and go up and over. Relax, clenching in the legs without losing the alignment of your feet, your ankles, your hips over your heels. The tilt of your pelvis, does it always tend to go back? Does it always tend to go forward? All right, and let's turn around and do the other side. So feet closer to straight, ankles closer to hip distance apart, hips back over the heels, relax, clenching, and take your outside arm up and over and back down. So mountain pose in yoga is, just classic standing pose. And if you ever practice with like some of the great masters like Iyengar, they would spend so much time just on like mountain pose, just standing. And what are your feet doing? What are your legs doing? And I really understand why now, because if you look around, so people stand in a balanced way. It's such an exercise to stand in a balanced way. It will teach you so much about your body. We'll come back to that in a moment. But from here, reach your hand out to the wall. So you're going to do fingers pointing up, fingers pointing forward, and fingers pointing back. You're going to do all of it a little lower than your shoulder, so it's more like your fingertips line up with your shoulder and your hand in line with your shoulder. I was just showing you with my arm forward. So fingers up, feet closer to straight, ankles closer to hip distance, arm a little straight, maybe wrap your elbow pit towards the ceiling, relax, clenching in your legs. You don't actually have to turn or do anything with your upper body here. This in itself is a great thing to do just standing and facing straight ahead. You can turn your chest a little bit away, a little bit more, but same thing, you don't want to always go to the same angle. And then can you really relax anything that may be clenching, or did your hips start to drift forward? Check in with what's going on with your legs. And then unwind and turn your fingers to point forward, hand a little bit below the shoulder, and maybe just stay right there, or maybe turn open a little bit. And I find in this internal rotation, I'm like, I can feel this. I don't always need to turn open. I mean, really, besides doing this in class, how often in normal everyday life over and over is my arm in this position? Not much. So I don't need to be aggressive with it. Just coming here is nice to feel something different. Okay, rotate your hands so your fingers point behind you. You can again stay right there. You can turn your chest open a little bit. Can anything around your legs relax without your heels slipping in, without your ankles stepping wider or closer together, without your thigh bones drifting forward, without the tilt of your pelvis turning. And my goodness, some parts just don't want to relax, and that's okay. All right, release that arm, turn around to the other side, start fingers up, and maybe rotate open. You can work on neutral rotation of your thigh bones here. So that's another great one to do. Ooh, I can feel my hips were drifting forward there. Back them up. And then you rotate into neutral, and you see, keeping that alignment, can I relax any clenching? All right, turn your fingers to point forward and breathing there. Relax the shoulders, ribs relax down, head slides back. And then really, if you start to feel more clenching, you can just keep relaxing your clenching over and over again. Turn your fingers to point behind you. And you do want to work on the clenching, release, and then from there come back to the back of your chair and walk back 2 straight arms, 2 straight legs. You want to work on the alignment and the clenching simultaneously, because sometimes the alignment will help the clenching and vice versa. The clenching will help the alignment. Very straight legs, nice long spine. All right, come on up, feet straight, ankles hip distance apart, and push down through your outer hip, and top of the foot tucks, bottom of the toes, top of the toes, top of the foot, bottom, and top, and bottom, top, and bottom. Stay at either one. Check your standing leg hip. If it goes forward, if it goes out to the side, in and back. You can see here, when my hip is in, my hip, my knee, and my ankle are stacked. A lot of times people walk, which means balancing, their hip goes out slightly. You can see when my hip goes out, my hip and my knee are no longer directly over my ankle. You can imagine how that is for my joints over time to have this constant pulling more on one side, and then as well as this is how bone density goes away. If you stand like this all the time, then your hip is not being loaded on one side or the other. Bring it in, stack your joints. That's weight bearing, your own body. Okay, switch. Feet closer to straight, ankles closer to hip distance, push down. Try to hug that hip in without clenching, and then go from top of the toes, top of the foot, to bottom of the toes, and switch. And if you have a toenail that bothers you ever, put a towel under your foot, put a pillow under there, or a specific just tension in your foot. All right, stay either toes tucked under or top of the foot, and then check. Where's your hip? Can you back it up so the weight's over the heels so you can easily lift your toes? Can you relax clenching? Let's say you're here and you're like, I'm doing this balancing and I'm doing pretty good, but there's no way the clenching is going to relax. That's where you use a wall or a chair as a tool. If you just rest a couple fingers on a chair, you'll probably be able to relax clenching, and then you're programming your body to be strong and supple, which is what we want for circulation, for movement, physical freedom, mental freedom. All right, bring that foot back. Grab whatever you're using for your calf stretch. Put it in front of your right foot, but before we use it, we're just gonna stay right here, and we're gonna work on that stance like I said I would. Check, ankles really under the ASIS bones, feet straight. Interlace your right pinky finger on the bottom, press away. You can work on neutral rotation of your thigh bones here. Check the tilt of your pelvis. Try to relax clenching anywhere that you can. Thumbs go in and open. 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 And then just check in again. And it's okay if you realize, oh, this area or that area, just not letting go. You're just trying to keep softening it a little bit, keep focusing on it, switch the crossing of your fingers. So here's the thing, you stand like this, your weight equal, you're in alignment, stand like this for 20 minutes. It's a lot of work. Your body will want to keep going wherever it's comfortable. People are kind of always just sinking into their joints instead of using their muscle to support them. That's one of the reasons why there was so much focus on this. People would think that's not exercise, that's standing. And then someone I know, people I know will go run 5 miles, bike 10, 20 miles, have them stand in alignment in their bodies for 10 minutes. No way. Sit for longer periods of time in an upright spine. No way. So what's going on when they're doing that other exercise? They're not using their deeper core muscles. They're not using all their deep strength. Good, and release. Okay, put the ball of your foot up, your heel down. Maybe you step that outside foot forward. Let's put a bend in our right knee. Steer it to the center of the foot. This goes for all movements we do here, but in particular for this one a lot. If you ever feel this in the back of your ankle, you want to back off. It's telling you, yes, I need to do this stretch more. Yes, my lower leg is very tight because it's pulling on the connective tissue, but then you need to do it with a washcloth under your foot or something a lot lower so that there's no sensation in the joint. From here, take your right arm up and over, side bend. Relax, clenching. Take your left arm up and over, side bend. Relax, clenching. And then straighten that right leg all the way. Maybe keep your left foot back. Maybe step it forward a little bit. And then from our calf stretch, we're going to, what were we going to do? Oh yeah. All right. We're going to do those angles of the tricep again, which I really like. Lift your right arm up, hand to the outer shoulder. You can just stay here and work on your ribs and your head, or if you want to, you can use your other hand and pull back a little. But notice how my hand is already slid in. If that's you, bring it out to your outer shoulder. Clenching in the legs, clenching around the buttocks without losing the shape. All right, slide your hand towards your mid back. Breathing. Slide your hand over towards your other shoulder. All right, relax, switch legs. Ball of the foot up, heel down. Maybe the right foot steps forward or back. Bend that knee, steer it towards the center of a straight foot, and then take your left arm up and over, side bend, and take your right arm up and over, side bend, relaxing, clenching. All right, and come back up, straighten that leg all the way. Maybe your foot steps forward or back a little. And from here, left arm goes up, hand to the outer shoulder. You can just stay right there and work on that, or you can use your other hand for a little bit of support. Breathing here. Slide it more towards the center. If you notice, oh, I was in the center, bring it back to the outer shoulder. Ribs relax down, head slides back. Unclench the leg muscles. Slide your hand over towards your other shoulder. Notice if your ribs are pushing to one side. I just noticed that in myself. Relax your belly. Sometimes I actually notice I hold my belly after I eat. Maybe it's like an unconscious pattern, but that's not good. That's the worst time to hold your stomach. Okay, slide that out of the way. Walk back, cross your right arm on top of your left, push your hips back, let your head drop down. Take a rib breath here into the sides and the backs of the ribs. Switch, put your opposite arm on top. Rib breath here, relaxing, clenching. Maybe neutral rotation of the thigh bones. All right, release your arms, walk up to the chair, sit back into a lunge, and step your right leg back into a lunge. You're going to try to keep your left knee right over your heel, your upper body leaning forward and steady. Just roll off your back foot, bend your back knee, and extend back. And roll off, and extend back, and roll off. Everything stays steady. And extend back and relax, clenching, and roll off your foot, and extend back and relax, clenching. Push off the ball of that foot, step up, sit back into a chair pose, feet straight, ankles hip distance. Step your left leg back, right ankle right under the knee, and we'll roll off and bend just the back knee and extend, leaning forward so the lower back is nice and long. Bend the back knee a little bit. And extend. Are your elbows always out? Can you wrap them down a little bit? Bend the back knee and extend, and one more. Bend the back knee and extend. Lift off that back foot, press up, walk your feet wider, sit your hips back, relax clenching, but ground through your feet, press up, walk your feet wider, sit your hips back. Inner thighs relax, outer thighs relax, buttocks drops down a little more without losing the stability of the feet. And then press up. Okay, your feet are nice and wide. From here, you reach your arms low, sit back into a squat, reach your right arm across as much as it will go, open up low, reach your left arm across, open up, arms a little higher. Good opportunity to straighten your legs for a moment and then rebend them. Otherwise, right arm reaches across, open up, left arm reaches across, open up, arms a little higher. Great opportunity to give your legs a stretch straight and relax clenching, and then sit back into your squat. Right arm goes across and open, left arm goes across and open, one higher with the arms, right arm across, open, left arm across, open, stretch your legs nice and straight. Right arm stays up, left hand down, outer shoulder. This is another one. Go slow, ease your way in. Just the upper body. Every time we're gonna go to the left with this arm, hand, outer shoulder, twist just your upper body to the left. Unwind, side bend to the left, nice and slow. And come up. Slide your hand to the center. Twist the upper body, hips stay centered to the left. Come back to center, side bend to the left. And come up. Slide your hand over towards your other shoulder. Doesn't matter if it's up here or down here. Little twist to the left. And unwind, little side bend to the left. And come up and extend that arm, lower it down, reach your left arm up, hand to the outer shoulder. First, just the upper body, twist to the right. We go to the right every time. Untwist, side bend to the right. Relax, clenching around the legs. Come up, hand slides to the center and twist to the right. Unwind, side bend to the right. Keep breathing and come up. Slide that hand over a little further and twist to the right. From the rib cage, unwind, side bend to the right, and come up and extend that arm and lower your hand down. Reach your arms out, palms down, sit back into your wide squat, and turn and look over your right shoulder, wrists flip down and up. Turn and look over your left shoulder, wrists flip down and up. Good. Bring back to center, right ear to right shoulder, wrists flip down and up. Bring your left ear over to your left shoulder and wrists flip down and wrists flip up. Bring your head up, chin drops down to the center. Check your toes, ankles, knees, hips, relax clenching, belly, wrists flip down, wrists flip up. Bring your head up, press your legs long. We're going to do 3 different angles. Your feet are going to turn out, your feet are going to turn in, and your feet are going to be straight. So keep your legs wide, face your chair, turn your feet out slightly. If you start up here, just back your hips up. If you can go way back, you don't need to go that far back. Just hips over your heels. Relax clenching, relax clenching, relax clenching. If your spine is straight, you can bring your forearms down. You don't want your shoulders below your hips for this though. And then spin your feet so your heels go out, your toes go in. And relax clenching. If you tend to thrust your ribs, be aware of that. Relax, relax, relax. Deep buttocks muscles, deep groin muscles. Outer edges of feet straight. Take a moment to relax and then walk your feet into 3, maybe about as wide as a mat would be. Feet turn out, hips go back, feet turn in, Hips go back and relax. The front of the thighs, the inner thighs, the outer thighs, the back of the thighs. Feet turn straight, hips go back. Relax around the hips, the belly without losing the alignment of the ribs, the tilt of the pelvis. And then go ahead and walk your feet into hip distance apart. Feet go out, hips go back. And turn your toes in, your heels out, hip distance, 2 straight legs. Can anything relax a little more? Your buttocks, your deep inner thighs, up in the groin area. Feel like it's softening down towards the floor without the knees bending. All right, now bring your feet all the way together and turn your heels in, your toes out, so your heels touch, and back your hips up there. And relax, clenching. Switch, touch your big toes, spread your heels open, back your hips up a little bit there. And if you're forward, you have to back up more. Relax the front of the thighs, the inner thighs, the groin area, the belly, the outer hips. And then bring your feet straight, pretty close together, and back your hips up and relax. All right, from here, feet hip distance. You can put a blanket or a towel over the back of your chair, elbows down. If you're kind of above your elbows, sometimes it's nicer than right on, and let your chest drop down any amount. Great place to take some rib breaths, neck nice and long. You can work on the alignment of your feet, the alignment of your ankles, the alignment of your thighs into neutral, really straightening your legs. And of course, now we can relax work on all of that and clenching. And then push down through your legs to come up. And we're gonna have a seat in our chair. Please pay attention to how you sit down. All right, and we're gonna work more on up and down sitting soon. We haven't done that in a while. I have some great new variations for us to do. Okay, from here, we're going to do we do a lot of side bends and twists. So if you haven't been doing a lot of side bends and twists and you're just starting out doing these classes, do side bends and twists more often before you start adding in different elements. So in other words, take your right arm up and over into a side bend. And if your body's familiar with this, it's okay to move from here. But if your body's not familiar from it, it likes slow adaptation. So maybe just do more side bends more often. But from your side bend, let's do a twist. Turn your rib cage forward, turn your rib cage back. It's not your arm going forward and back, it's your rib cage. Turn your rib cage forward, turn your rib cage back. Come back to center, switch. Left arm goes up and over. Focus on the rib cage moving. Turn your rib cage forward, turn your rib cage back. Relax, clenching without losing the alignment. Turn your rib cage forward, turn your rib cage back, back to center, come back up. Okay, we did this a little last week. Twist to the right, hold and stay to the right. Do side bends while you're in a twist. Your body never turns back to center. You keep turning to the right and you're just bending side to side from your twist. And if you find it really challenging to do that without turning back, then just bend without your arms and bend your torso side to side, or twist rather, and just bend your torso side to side. Okay, twist to the left, legs steady, hold the twist, side bends with the arms. You're never turning back. Your belly button is pointing towards your left knee. And if for whatever reason, I just see this in a lot of people's bodies where it's like, for whatever reason, when they bend this way, they have to turn their torso back. So if that's you, turn, and everyone can do this, and just try to bend your ribs side to side while you're turned to the left. Feels really good to do it even without the arms here. All right, come back to center. We walk our feet a little wider than hip distance apart. Bring our hands together, lift them up into the air, and nice and slowly tap either the top of your head or go behind a little bit and extend. And tap and extend. And tap and extend and tap and extend, and open your arms, stretch your legs straight, back of the right hand down, pull back gently, maybe rotate your elbow pit a little bit up, but either way, with your hand in line with your shoulder, maybe just stay here, maybe a little bend and straighten. All right, switch, back of the other hand, pull back, elbow pit up, maybe a little bend and straighten. Clenching in the legs, relax. Good, release, flex your ankles, fold over your legs just a little bit. Try to spread your toes as wide as they'll go. Try to point your big toes forward and pull your little toes back. Switch, little toes forward, big toe back. Spread all your toes. If you want to fold forward a little bit more, relax anywhere that you can relax, clenching. Maybe even up into your shoulders and your neck. And then come on back up and sit back in your chair for your final pose, Savasana. Let your gaze soften or your eyes gently close. And so especially here, if you're just, even if all throughout class we're moving, you can't have something under your hips. You know, if you find that sitting, well, first of all, in Savasana, you can relax if you want to. So you can sit all the way back in your chair. But if you want to play with sitting up tall, get your hips a lot higher. And that way you can relax with your pelvis tilted somewhat forward. Accept that the nature of the mind is that it wanders away. And just keep bringing your awareness back to your breath and your body. Feeling your body, allowing it to just do whatever it does. Stay present with your body, with your breath. Difference is distinctive. When anomalies arise in nature, they are labeled as rare, not weird. We celebrate the animals and organisms that have unusual qualities, birds with unique plumage, fish that glow in the ocean's depths, trees that appear to grow upside down. They show us that different is beautiful and that there is a significance in standing out. We too should celebrate what makes us unique. Consider something about you that makes you different. Rather than trying to fit in, what might it feel like to celebrate your differences and share them with the world? Feel confident in knowing that the things that make you different are also what make you distinct. Bringing our hands into a gesture of gratitude. In gratitude for what makes us unique. I'm a big believer that if everybody had the time and the support to kind of dig in to themselves, that it's their unique qualities that would change the world for the better. In gratitude for this day. Namaste. There's always something to learn from everyone.